We're going to now move into something a little more functional. We're going to ask, Mike Kessler, AP, and Nathaniel Hunter to join us, and we're going to talk a little bit about what types of NFTs are available. So hi, Mike. Mike's coming to us from London. And,
hi there. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? AP's coming to us from the US, Pennsylvania, and Nathaniel or Nate is coming to us from lovely Los Angeles, so that area in and around. How you guys doing today?
Doing well.
Excellent. Thanks.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I want to thank you all for being here. Let me introduce the three of you. Just give me a sec because I have to do this. So Mike Kessler. Mike Kessler has had a wondrous career in investment banking, hedge funds, compliance, and private equity, and stock exchange solutions using blockchain technology. In 2012, Mike went on to develop his own FCA-regulated platform, Kessler Capital, which acts as a regulatory incubator service in the UK. And he is also CEO and founder of the Tokenized Stock Exchange, which is going to be operating out of Barbados. Nathaniel Hunter is an innovator for content creation and a veteran with previous roles in leadership operations and software engineering at Lucasfilm, Disney, WPP, 3DO, and Apple. Wow. He is currently co-founder and chief operations officer at Dreamview, a company that we partner with, a groundbreaking technology innovator that is disrupting content creation with technology. I mean, they're doing our 3D work, and the stuff you'll see today and the stuff you saw with the GZ announcement is all coming out of Dreamview, and the Outer Spaceman is coming out of Dreamview. So we're so excited to have them there. And we've got AP back, and as we've introduced AP before, I'm not going to go into his illustrious career, but I want to talk to the three of you gentlemen about the different types of NFTs. And I'm going to start with AP. Why don't you just give us a little bit of background on what a digital NFT is?
Sure. The digital NFT is going to involve a couple of different elements. We're going to do some that are going to be built in Unity and 3D. They're going to have special effects. There's going to be movement to it. A lot of people have seen ones with refractors or other effects, but we want to bring them to life. So we're going to have the 3D versions. There will be static ones, but we're really going to bring them to life, and then using AR as a means to really enhance it further from the NFT kind of relationship to taking the store to life, similar to what everyone saw when they scanned the Oasis logo today and really saw it come vibrant and exciting. So that's really what we're looking to do with Liquid Avatar and the Oasis products.
And so a digital NFT, if we can just summarize it for everyone, a digital NFT is that blockchain-based item that you're going to buy and you can view over and over again. And unlike a comic book that when you read it, it doesn't deteriorate. So it stays in. Oh, I thought I turned that off. That Siri's talking to me. I've got a new Apple phone for Clubhouse, and it talks to me every once in a while. Anyways, so it, like any collectible, if you were hold a baseball card or a hockey card, you've got to safe store it. But everything in digital NFTs is on the blockchain, so it's sort of a one and done situation. It stays in its same original form. But there is a way to take a digital item and combine it with a physical item. And Nate, your team is working on some projects to combine both of them. So maybe you want to talk about how you would combine a physical product with a digital product.
Definitely. So we have we have a technology with our partnership with Suku Infinite that takes a custom Avery Dennison NFC near field communications tag. You've probably seen them when you've bought different products from even a Target or something. It looks like a little swirly pattern on the back of a product that's a sticker. And we've actually worked with our technology partners to create this link between these NFC tags and an NFT token so that they can be inexorably linked forever. So you can take this NFC tag, put it on any physical object, and then register that on the blockchain or the hash graph connected to an NFT token, so that when you buy a physical product, let's use like the Outer Spaceman as a possible scenario. When you buy a physical toy, you could actually have a digital representation of that through the NFT token that's connected. Now you have what's considered digital provenance. You have ownership of that physical item. This could also be done with comic books or any physical item really, to then validate, typically it's been done through like heritage auctions and others where they have to go through this whole process of validating a collectible. This way, the token itself comes from the brand owner or whoever that originator or creator is, and it creates this immutable link between the physical object and the digital object forever.
And if I'm correct, which I believe I am, when you move that digital item and the physical, you'd have to move the physical item with it. So you not only transfer the digital item, so you'd have that digital item that you could show everybody, but you'd also have the physical item. So you wouldn't have to invite everyone into your house to see your artwork. You could actually have the digital to show everybody wherever you are and have that collectible stored wherever you want it. And if you wanted to sell it to another party, the NFC tag connected to as a token to the blockchain, everything would have to move in order to make that sale work.
Correct. Yeah. Traditionally, you would sell an item, let's say through Craigslist or eBay or something like that, or just in person via cash transfer. But the problem with that is there's no traceability, right? So you do that, and it kind of that's the whole point of like blockchain and the hash graph is having this functionality of being able to trace every transaction that happens. And so using the new blockchain and hash graph tech, we can actually connect that physical object to every single traceable movement or sale through the digital means, and then it's always traceable back to the originator. So you can again validate the actual product being, for instance, not a knockoff, which happens in comics and physical products all the time. And this allows you to get past the need for a seal of authenticity or some other piece of secondary method. This allows you to do it in a digital manner.
So I'm gonna stretch this out really far and say, well, if someone owned a Louis Vuitton purse which had an NFC tag, they could own a digital representation of that purse and actually use it on an avatar somewhere else.
That is correct.
So now we're talking. Now we'll mention the metaverse, and again we go back to the Oasis if you've seen Ready Player One. But physical products connected to digital products can then allow a user to transport that product into a usability as a digital item in a digital environment. So there's a lot. If your head's exploding, I apologize because I don't want to have to help anyone clean up a mess. But at the end of the day, it is really important to think about where this is going. So you've got digital, you've got physical. Now we're going to expand into the next realm. What if that physical item is worth so much money that one owner unto themselves is not the way to do that, but you want a partnership or a group. Now this is where, and I can say this with great respect, this is where we start talking a little bit about securities. This is where we talk about fractional ownership and securities and making sure that things are done in the right way to meet certain regulations. And Mike, with the tokenized stock exchange, you're also looking at fractionalization of assets. That's correct.
That is absolutely right. Yes. So I think what we can consider here is an NFT, a building, an aeroplane, a collection of wine, whatever it is, a piece of art. I mean, if you take the Beeple project that went for $69 million, I mean, the reality is there's very few people that could afford that. So if you were to attach an NFT to an item like that, what you could in theory do is break it up into 1 million different units and sell each unit for $69. And then on the platform, what you're actually doing is you are, as you said, creating a security. So by creating a security, you have to do that on a regulated platform. It's just the way the world works. Mm-hmm. So there's more stringent controls and mechanisms around it. But I think one of the beauties about doing something like that is you could have a piece of art, whether it's a Picasso, whether it's a Banksy, whether it's a Beeple, a Steve Aoki type product or whatever, then you could create fractions of units within that represent, say, 1/millionth of the overall piece of art, or 100th, whatever it is, and then you can trade it on the stock exchange. So effectively, as the supply and demand changes, then the prices rise or falls, and it also creates greater liquidity within the marketplace itself.
So that's really where an NFT truly becomes an investment. And the other way to do this too, Mike, is you could do, and again, just because, you know, AP and I both are public companies, so we understand a little bit more, and just for our viewers and listeners today, but you could actually fractionalize a piece of artwork and then use the NFTs themselves, the digital representation of that fractionalization, as sort of a warrant. And that warrant could itself be that digital item.
Absolutely. So there really is, in terms of the world of securities these days, there are so many opportunities. The world has gone digital. If you think about it, Amazon, you can buy any product you want any time of day or night, 24/7, and you can have it delivered to you within a certain period of time. With buying tokenized securities, it's exactly the same thing. Okay, you're not necessarily taking delivery of the physical item, but you're taking delivery of a security. And whether it's a warrant, whether it's a share, whether it's a fractional piece of an item. So, I mean, there's lots of people out there that would like to say that they own a Picasso or part of a Picasso.
Right.
So there's mass syndication going on throughout the world. And also the other thing that I think is quite useful to bear in mind is what we could actually see is, for example, over here in the UK, you've got some famous old masters like Turner and Constable and stuff. What if you tokenize those or NFT those in order for them to remain in the country rather than getting sold off to some foreign private collection? So the storage then comes back to what you were saying. You would have to have someone who's in charge of that. But I think in terms of having mass ownership and owned by a populace of people becomes really interesting. And also it drives the value.
Well, I think for museums and nonprofit organizations and collectors who have, you know, or states, there's so many opportunities that are showing up. And again, if we take it through the transition of going from Mike to Nate to, you know, AP, we see the transition from something that could be very, very valuable, changing into something that is physical, and then that can be now made virtual. So the circle is sort of complete on all parts. And it gives opportunities for things that are of very, very high value to be tokenized, created into NFTs. But we also see high-end or even everyday items that can be made into physical products, then virtualized and made into NFTs, which then can be taken and either displayed or used anywhere. And then if we take the last part of AR, you know, any one of the fractional or physical could actually show up anywhere in the world. So you could take a Beeple and hang it next to, you know, the Mona Lisa in the Louvre, right? Yeah. There's so many variations. And then we get into sculpture with 3D modeling, and there's so many different, and we could go on forever. But for our viewers and listeners, if you had to impart wisdom into them on anything in particular, I'm going to let Mike go first. But what would you say? And Mike, I just want to make a plug for your company, but your company is coming to Canada, and I know that there is opportunities that you're just putting together your investment thesis as potentially a Canadian company. And I can connect anybody that wants to with you. But
thanks for the plug.
Thanks for the plug. Any words of wisdom that you want to give people with respect to any further details on fractionalization, where you see that market going?
Yeah, I think what you've got to do is you've got to work out if it's worth doing it from a cost ratio, because it's not cheap to enter into the securities market. But if you think about it, if you do have a high value item and the chances of one person buying it and potentially outbidding other people might be low, especially when it's already held in a private collection. So what this does is it gives you the opportunity to liquidate some of that piece of art or whatever it is. So you don't necessarily even have to sell the entire piece of art. You could create 49% of this to be fractionalized. So I just think that the tokenization and fractionalization of the NFT world is potentially the next iteration of where we're going.
And it could be a fund too. So you could be it could be, I have 70 rookie cards of something and they're worth $10 million. And I don't really want to sell all of it. I only want to sell 30% of it. And I want to create a fund to manage that 30%.
Absolutely. And we're also looking at this at the moment for films.
Right,
so
exactly.
How you can tokenize and fractionalize films, and effectively all these people become producers.
Oh, exactly. So if you ever want to get your PGA, that's the way to get it. And that's, that's a Producers Guild of America. You have to have a certain amount of credit. Nate, do you have it when it comes to physical? Again, I've kind of tried to mention about the physicality moving into the virtual world and using NFTs as those effective markers, so that your virtual closet has got a massive wardrobe that is very unique. Any comments on that?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to hear this this term a lot coming up, which is this concept of digital twins, right? So it's a digital twin to the physical products, and that's going to become more and more commonplace as this technology reaches farther and farther out there. I think it's a unique way to pair physical products with digital products going into the future that even have utility outside of the digital product itself, right? So you'll see these things moving into external experiences. On the digital side, use a pair of sneakers as a prime example, where you buy a pair of the new Yeezy 350s that are in limited edition, and they are connected to digital representations of themselves that you can then utilize in Snapchat filters, in AR with ImagineAR, and also in potential other games and other experiences. So that's going to become a huge differentiator in terms of the NFT marketplace, not just being these static representations of content, but content that's actually connected to physical goods as well in the future.
Agreed. That's amazing.
And sorry, just to add to that, but what you're also doing is you can authenticate those goods with it as well.
Exactly.
And I think that's really important.
Agreed, because when I look at collector comic books, I make sure that they're verified, they're encased, everything is done. So this adds to the collectability of it. And AP, any parting words?
I think you covered everything. The one thing I want to bring up is the physical baseball card world is having a challenge. The prices are skyrocketing, but you got the issue of grading, and they have to be sent into grade. And the benefit of an NFT collectability is you have it, it's digital, it's yours. You don't have to send it into an envelope, ship it to a grading. And the graders right now are so backed up, they stopped taking a new product, which is impacting the liquidity and the ability to sell these. So that's another great benefit of NFT versus the physical marketplace, is what's going on currently with the grading with physical cards.
And no deterioration based on the number of views or uses, exactly. Right? So that's really key. So I wanted to thank the three of you for attending. I know some of you will be back, and really appreciate your time, and thank you very much, and have a wonderful afternoon or evening in your case, Mike.
Thanks. Take care.
Take care.